policing the police every single day, and doing what the Charlotte County Sun newspaper and local TV stations won't do every single day.
Hello?
Yes, this is the reporter calling back. Sorry about that.
Yeah, how you doing?
Not too bad. So you went for boating or fishing?
Yeah, we was taking the boat out. I hadn't been out in a while, and it was nice. I figured I'd try to put it in the water.
There you go.
Get it out for a little, run it a little bit.
And nobody's out there because everybody's going to get the virus?
Well, I'll tell you what, man, the boat ramp was packed. There wasn't no place to park hardly up there, so I'm guessing a lot of people was out on the boat.
Wow. So that's the only safe place to be is on the water?
It might be. I don't know. It was safe enough for me today.
There you go. So yeah, I went earlier today. I went around and went to the stores, and it was just chaos. This is crazy how out of control this is.
Yeah, it is nuts. You're right.
So do you agree that this is like way overblown? This is all media?
Well, it depends on who you are, I think. If you're an old elderly person who has health problems, then I think it's a matter of life and death, really.
Right.
But, if you're a younger person, we get the flu every year,
That is correct.
They say most people that are younger and healthy don't have any problems, so.
Right.
I can understand if you're an older person, because like I said, it could be life or death, I would think, but.
Right.
From what they're saying anyways, but. It seems like it's being overblown. I think it's part of the old liberal agenda. They want to make things look as bad as they possibly can there.
Correct. So yeah, your write-up in the paper today was excellent, and then I saw your website. I saw your registration with the Charlotte County, and so what is your background, and why you got the idea to put the camera in the classroom, and so why are you running? That's the first question.
Well, I've got 5 daughters, and I've sent them all to our schools.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of things over the years.
Right.
I think aggregately, I figured it up. Keeping in mind 5 daughters over 17 years, but each kid's going through 12, 13 years of school or more.
Right.
So aggregately, I've got probably 60 years of experience,
Right.
sending my kids to a school.
Right.
And I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of things that over the years that need changed. And I've tried to talk to the administration and get some things changed over the years. And, most of the time we have to agree to disagree.
Right.
And I'll tell you, as a parent, that's not acceptable to me. So, after a number of years, I thought about running before I did.
Right.
But this is actually my second time running for the school board. I ran last time.
Right.
Well, but the problems aren't being fixed, and I've seen a lot of problems that parents encounter and that kids encounter that the administration just doesn't seem to want to address.
Right.
And so that's why I'm running. I'm running. It's more personal for me.
So
I'm not looking to be a public figure or to collect a salary. I'm looking to fix some of these problems that we got that nobody seems to want to recognize.
So you are impressed with the schools or not really?
No. I'm not impressed with our schools. We need to do better. I would hope that you would get that from my website. But if
Oh,
not,
yeah.
I need to make that clear.
Yes, no, that's a good website. I agree. So what gave you the idea to do the camera? I love some of your ideas. I mean, maybe you can get more into it since you're limited on editorial. You're not limited here.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've found over the years that parents just don't know what's going on in the class.
Right.
You can ask your child, did you turn in your homework? How are your grades? And your child's going to, whether they turn it in or not, they're going to say, oh yeah, my homework's done.
Right.
And I've seen that to be true. And, as a parent, you trust your child. When they tell you something, you want to believe it.
Right.
And you hope that the teacher would call if something wasn't right in class.
Right.
But I've seen it where homework wasn't getting turned in and teachers didn't call and children were failed as a result of it, And I'll tell you, it doesn't take much for a teacher to pick up a phone and make a phone call.
Right.
And say, your child hadn't turned their homework in for 2 weeks. I'm concerned that they might fail if that doesn't change. Most parents, if they got that phone call,
right,
would deal with the situation and things would improve.
Right.
But we're not getting those phone calls. And kids are falling through the cracks. And one of the things that we need to do is teachers need to start reaching out to parents.
Right.
But I've been thinking about it, and I'll tell you, if you can't count on the teachers to reach out to the parents, then the parents need a way to be able to see what's going on in the classroom.
Correct.
And so that's where I came up with this idea. Our school system wants you to go online to check your kids' grades. They want to put all these things online, and they're trying to become more tech savvy. And, why couldn't we do this?
Right.
Why shouldn't we do this?
Right.
Why aren't we doing this?
Right.
And to me, it was just a common sense thing once I started thinking about it. I'm looking for solutions to these problems. I'm not looking to rubber stamp what we're doing.
Right.
I'm looking to be able to fix. Parents need to be more informed. They need to know what the curriculum is. They need to be able to look and see if things are happening like they're supposed to. It's just nice to be able to log in and see that your kid's in class and paying attention. There really is not a downside
right.
to the classroom cam.
Correct.
And it would provide a layer of transparency in our school system that we don't have right now.
And I think that's why they will absolutely fight against it for that exact reason, correct?
Well, I'm expecting that they will, although it seems to be popular among those I've spoke to thus far. So maybe, whether they like it or not, they'll have to get on board. I will say they don't want you to know what happens in the classroom.
That is correct, yes.
I've found that out as a parent. I've went down there many times, and trust me, they do not want you to see what's going on behind closed doors. This would fix that problem.
That is correct. And I love your other idea, too, that, if for some reason they went to the bathroom and missed something, or they need to brush up on it because they forgot, it's right there. And it's a public building in a public place. There should be no reason why not to, just like you said.
Well, if you're a parent with a child in the class, yes. Now, I don't think we should open it up to the public at large necessarily.
Right.
You don't want some predator that's scoping out kids in the classroom.
Right.
But if you're a parent, then you should have the ability to have that oversight. There needs to be more oversight.
Right.
You need to know, parents really don't know what happened. They put their kid on the bus and they trust the schools are doing a good job, and that's not necessarily the case. But parents really don't have a way of being informed
that is,
like they need to be.
That is correct. I'm sure you've heard the same thing about the books. You guys don't even know what kind of books they got or what they're being taught. And there's some bad stuff there's some bad books and bad things being taught, correct?
Well, that's true, and that's also, one of the reasons why this makes sense. because we could actually see how the curriculum's presented and what's being presented, and yeah, we'll be able to, parents smart parents that want to be informed should be able to be.
Correct.
If this were done.
Correct.
And that would probably be the best thing we could do to inform parents, really, if you think about it.
Oh, I totally agree.
The ability to sit in your child's class like a fly on the wall and just see what's happening.
That is correct. But like you said, and I totally agree, they do not want the parents to know, because in my opinion, I'm 55, I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. I high school in the 80s. Yeah, to me, it's all it is nowadays is almost like an indoctrination camp. It's not even schooling anymore. Do you agree with that or disagree?
Yeah, it is. There's a lot of indoctrination going on in our school system.
Right.
And, like I said, when you're not in class, it's hard to tell what's going on. They might present Islam for 2 weeks.
Correct.
Only give Christianity, a passing mention on half of a class day. There's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes that they don't want you to see.
Correct.
They really don't.
Correct.
And that's why we need these classroom camps. It really is. I feel every parent should have the ability to know what happens with their kid during the school day.
Right.
And have the ability to honestly, I think every parent should have the ability to actually go to school and walk a day in their child's shoes. But you're not going to get the unfiltered version when you're sitting right there.
That is correct. Well, not only that, and I know, here's the other subject that I was going to talk to you about. Do you agree with what they're doing with the schools? They're freaking everybody out that everybody's going to be killed, everybody's going to die, and now our schools are literally like a prison. Do you think that is a good place for a kid to be?
Well, are you talking about with the high school shootings or the
Now you have cops in the school, and there's only one entrance, and it's fully gated in. It's almost like being in, I was a bad kid when I was young. It's almost like being in juvie. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I get that. We live in a fucked up world, and pardon my French.
Correct.
We do, man. It's not like it used to be. Back when we went to school,
right,
we'd have buck knife hanging on our belt.
That is correct.
Rack in the back of our pickup.
That's right.
Nobody ever shot nobody. Nobody ever stabbed nobody.
Correct.
If you had a disagreement, you'd go settle it with a fist fight, and then you'd become friends after that with whoever you was fighting. That's usually what happened.
Correct.
We do live in a different world now, and that's the sad part. Unfortunately, we have to adapt to the world that we're in. Look, I don't like the fact that our campuses are more like a prison than they are a school.
That's correct.
You do have to address the situation. I'll tell you one thing that I'm advocating for, and that's not being done currently.
Right.
And I'd like to see us bring concealed carry into our schools, so that teachers or faculty that were properly vetted and trained.
Correct.
And I'd like to work with the Sheriff's Department to actually implement a training program.
Right.
To have that in our school. And here's the reason why. It wasn't maybe a month ago or a month and a half where the iguana hunter was out in Englewood there. He's hunting iguanas, and they thought somebody seen a guy with a rifle, and all the squad cars and everybody headed that way, and they locked the schools down. It took them about 12 minutes to make their response, and I'm thinking to myself, man, if that had been a real situation,
right,
and if it had been my child in the
right.
classroom that was being assaulted,
yes,
I wouldn't want a 12-minute response. I wouldn't want a 2-minute response. I'd want a 20-second response.
Well,
and
the only
way you're going to get that is if you have people in the building who have that capacity.
Correct. Okay. How about this? Do you know this fun fact? That's a story that I did. A lot of people don't know about. Do you agree with the response that they did with the iguana hunter, who was not even on the property, who was multiple streets away. Do you agree with it?
He was within his rights to do what he did.
Correct.
And somebody saw him, and somebody panicked, and it was the boy who cried wolf.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm glad that was the case, because otherwise it would have been a bad situation. So I'd rather have an accidental response than have to respond to the real thing. So
here's what we have a tip on. The bus driver that saw him, in my opinion, could have, the 911 could have said, okay, stay there and watch him, and wait till somebody comes, and I believe they did not need to lock down the school. So I'm sure you've heard that they knew right away that this guy was not, for the schools. I believe the sheriff took advantage of this to do a real lockdown, and then also.
They may very well have, actually. That wouldn't surprise me. But here's the thing.
Right.
Whether it was real or whether it was imagined,
right,
or whether it was just faked,
right,
like that, it was their opportunity to practice their emergency response.
But
you see what I'm saying?
Did you hear what?
It is an opportunity. But as far as I'm concerned, 12-minute response is not very. I'd heard the school board and everybody talking about how great of a response that was.
Right.
And I got to tell you, man, if somebody's shooting up our schools, 12 minutes is an eternity, man. So I don't see it the same way they do.
Did you hear what it did to the kids psychologically? So here's what I found. A lot of people don't know. Okay, so they knew it wasn't real. And they still, they freaked the kids out forever, freaked the parents out forever. They literally had SWAT people with the ARs with their finger on the trigger, with the dog.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, going from classroom to classroom. That was out.
Yeah, you don't. That's overkill there.
Yeah.
Unless there's an actual shooting.
That is correct.
You shouldn't be coming into the schools with your finger on the trigger like that. That's ridiculous.
Okay, by the way,
I don't like that.
I asked for the report. Did you get the report yet?
The report on
the lockdown.
No, I didn't. I don't get I'm not privy to all these things. I'm a candidate running for office. I'm not actually on the school board yet.
Okay, I'm gonna let you know how they know they screwed up. Okay, this is how bad they screwed up. The report was one paper, 3 sentences, and it was completely blacked out. And I know that's outrageous. For a response that big, it should almost be a book.
Look, I'm not going to defend our sheriff's department, man. I think in a lot of cases they try to keep the public uninformed, just like the schools do.
Yeah.
And they try to hide behind their badge.
That is correct.
I've seen good cops and I've seen bad cops. And
correct.
Generally, I like to think that they're all out trying to keep things safe and make it a better world. But that I've seen otherwise. So I get what you're saying.
All right. By the way, you had another topic that I think is an interesting one that I disagree with you on, the letting kids have the cell phone. And I want to give you the reason why I think it's wrong, by the way, that you're hinting no. I'm hinting yes, because like you said, they're not going to let you record in the classroom. I'll just bet you pesos on that right now. I wish.
Well, look, if I can get in there on the school board, you might be surprised what I can get done. I've got a background in sales and marketing. I know how to talk to people and get things done.
Okay, so
you might be surprised in that.
If you don't get it, that's why I think the kids should have the cell phones, because they can get stuff that maybe the teacher's saying that's wrong or doing that's wrong, or like we were talking about, the schools are almost like prisons now. A lot of kids have been getting video from inside the schools where, the cops are just totally overreacting. I mean, did you hear that they arrested a 6-year-old kid? That's stupid.
Yeah, I get that. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Look, I agree with you to a large extent.
Right.
But here's my experience when it comes to kids in schools and cell phones.
Right.
Is my experience, they're more of a distraction, more of a problem than they are a good thing. And I can say that having sent 5 kids through the schools and all of them at one time or another having cell phones.
Right.
I'm not saying that we ban cell phones.
Right.
They certainly should be discouraged. You know, kids should not be on their cell phone when they're sitting in class. I guess that's probably what I'm trying to say. I don't know how you solve that problem because it's like the cat's out of the bag. So.
Oh yeah. We're way past that. And another way to prove that is, as you know, the kids are on their computers when they're in class. I mean, and that is what the cell phone is. So I mean, it's, you know what I mean?
Well, it's one thing if you're doing an assignment on the computer to get certified for a Microsoft function or something, but it's another thing when you're on the internet, Facebook, sharing the latest photo that you took in the hallway there.
Right.
I think during class time, phones should be discouraged. And we can agree to disagree on
right.
one thing. We'll still
Correct.
agree on 9 others, you know.
Correct.
But I'm not a big supporter of cell phones in the school system.
Right.
I've seen more problems than good out of it. But having said that, I will make the schools more accountable.
Right.
I will bring more transparency. That's one thing as a school board member. Even if I don't have the votes to get something passed,
right,
I do got the ability to get answers to questions, and I will ask the hard questions, and things will, the squeaky wheel does get the oil.
Right.
So, I will be able to address these issues. I really think I can get classroom cams into our schools, by the way.
Wow.
And you're right. They probably will resist me.
Oh, absolutely.
I really think I can get this done.
Polling records, I pull records from the police, the sheriff, the government. The school is the worst. They act like they're their own entity and they don't have to obey law. It is disgusting.
Yeah, they don't, there's no transparency up there. Even as a parent to send my kids to the school system.
Right.
And, you would think that I would be able to get some answers. And even then, it's hard. The answers are hard to come by up there.
Wow.
That's why I'm running, man. Things need to change.
Right.
And I'll tell you, there's not anybody that cares to make any changes.
Right.
So I'm the only hope we got, brother. I really am, and I'm going to look at it from the family perspective. And from the perspective of God and country, and I'm a family values kind of guy, and I stand up for our rights.
Right.
I don't back down when somebody has a disagreement. I'll if I feel like I'm right, I'll take you on the subject.
Right.
And that's what I'm going to have to do up there on things. But I may only get a portion of what I'd like to do done. But if I can start the discussion, right now nobody's talking about these things.
I agree.
So if I can get the discussion going, we may get some progress in some areas.
Right. By the way, on the schools are like prisons now. Would you try to back some of that down? Like you said, it's out of control. I agree with you. Give teachers concealed carry, and then you don't need these cops walk around everywhere. I've heard they got the dogs in the school literally checking bags and cars. It's like they're prisoners in school, and they're trying to bust them while they're there.
They're paranoid.
Right.
Let's be honest. The cops and school officials both.
Right.
They think the worst and look for the worst in just about every situation.
Correct.
It's a tough. You got to pick and choose your battles, bro.
Right.
It is what it is, man. And if I can make some difference, I hope to do so. I can tell you, I'm the only one that's running for office and for the school board that is dedicated to making change and trying to make some difference.
Oh, I agree. I never heard anybody talk about the camera in the classroom. I agree. And because, like you said, that is transparency. Absolutely. So that's why when I saw your editorial, that's why I reached out. I wanted to get a little bit of conversation on that. And yeah, I will vote for you. Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate your vote, but I'll be honest with you, it's going to take more than just your vote, brother. It's going to take a lot of parents' votes and a lot of people's votes. I'm fighting an uphill battle here. You know, I'm running against an incumbent.
Right.
And she's got a lot more money to spend than I do.
Right. Okay.
And,
is there any debates coming up, by the way?
Not in the next month or so that I'm aware of, but they will probably. I guess everybody's got to get past this coronavirus.
Right. Correct.
But I'm guessing somewhere around May, June, there's going to be some debates. You know, the answer is yes and no. There's nothing coming up right away, but there will be. Right. You know, down the road here.
Well, yeah. If you can keep in touch, if it's a free for all where some of us can ask questions, absolutely. I will ask questions and, you know, confront the other side, too, because they will fight tooth and nail on that camera in the classroom.
Well, I'm sure they will. Look, there's a lot of, you know, I'm advocating for bringing corporal punishment back to our school. And it's not because I want to see kids get their butts spanked. Right. But there's a certain percentage of repeat offenders. Right. If you will. Right. And I've had daughters that fit that category. Right. And here's what happens. You know, the kid goes to the principal's office, and the principal's got two choices. It's either in school suspension or out of school suspension. Right. You know? Now, I remember back when I went to school, and if I got in trouble, I went up to the principal's office, I had two choices. I could either get a swat with a paddle or a day of in-school suspension. Right. And you know what? I took the SWAT every time. Right. And I was back in class 10 minutes later with a sore butt and a stiff upper lip. Right. You see what I'm saying? Right. Well, for those students, I think the paddle would be an appropriate option. Right. Now that's gonna be, you know, try to get that one through the school board. Yeah, that's what you mean. I don't think that's gonna happen anymore. Well, look, I'm going to push for same with harming the faculty and the staff. Right. There's no appetite for that right now up there on our school board. Right. That's something we should be doing, but it's going to take somebody like me who has the salesman experience that can sell the public and sell the other people on that idea that's going to actually get it done. And you know, I think I might get some progress on some issues. By the way, you're going to have to make. What do you do for business? You said you have a business? Yeah, my background's in sales and marketing and management. Going back to the early '90s. Right. But for the last 15 years, I've got a small business that I run. I'm a small business owner basically since after Charlie. Right. I worked for the phone company prior to that, and Rent-A-Center and Rainsoft. Won top honors in sales and marketing. Managed for a couple of them. Right. But after Charlie, I felt the need to get out of the corporate world, and I started my own business, and that's what I've been doing ever since. Nothing wrong with that. Nope. All right. I haven't punched the time clock in 15 years, and I'm damn proud of it. Very good. Is there anything else you wanted to add, or that's good for now, or what do you think? Well, look, we've talked on a lot of different things. You've got my number. All right. I appreciate your support. Anything you can do to get the word out. All right. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to need every vote. I'm going to need you to talk to every person. I'm going to ask you to write letters to the editor of the newspaper. Right. All of these things. That's what it's going to take for me to get elected. Right. And if I don't get elected, then plan on more of the same, because that's what you're going to have. Right. So I really appreciate your support, and I appreciate your help. Anything you can do to get the word out. We need to get the word out. We need to get this done. We really do.
I agree. All right, man. I will do what I can. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. It was nice talking to you.
All right. You have a good day.
You too.
Hey Charlotte County, this is Charlotte County Cop Watch. I am using any video here with under fair use if you have criticism, reporting, teaching, etc. And please donate. I do not make money from YouTube, and there are different ways to donate in the video links. Thanks.